everyone, and welcome into the Rochester Press Box. I'm Bill Pucko. Happy to be joined once again by Tariq Spence, Pat Duffy. Tariq, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Enjoying some time off, but happy to be back.
And Pat, you got what looks to be a Knicks jersey.
Well, yeah, this one's for Tariq because I haven't seen him since Trae Young did what he did. But yeah, I figured we go to happier times. Walt Clyde Frazier. Come on.
Could have used him. Could have used Earl the Pearl Monroe. Could have used Patrick Ewing. Could have used anybody. Allen Houston. My goodness, what a terrible display.
Tariq, let's talk baseball first. Major League Baseball is cracking down on substance abusers, pitchers that are putting stuff on baseballs or perhaps doing whatever as a possible solution to the lack of offense. What do you think about this?
Well, I think why stop now? I mean, what are you going to do in the near future? Listen, this has always haunted baseball. Baseball seems to be the only sport where people get to cheat, continue to move on, continue to say, hey, I'm going to take my greenies, I'm going to take my roids, I'm going to take my juice the ball, I'm going to steal signs. This has always been about the game. It has always been about scoring. I know a lot of people are concerned about scoring going down, but this has been the game, and it's everybody ratting everybody out. Like, when did baseball turn into an episode of a TV show, Cheaters? Like, it's all this is now is just, I've got this guy, I've got this ace, he's got this $300 million contract. You're not going to get rid of the contract. So what difference does it make? You might as well let these guys do what they want to do, try to get the revenue back, try to get the fans back some other way, because you're stuck in the middle right now with penalizing people.
What I don't get is why it took so long. Baseball players move around team to team. Guys that played with guys who cheat know they're cheating. They got new teammates. They have to say something. Why wasn't this more commonly known?
I think it is commonly known, but nobody ever outs anybody. So especially while they're still playing. So now you've got players that are still in the league. They know these little dirty secrets. Everybody loves them. Before, when it was Jose Canseco, he was out of baseball when he snitched on juicing. He was out of the game. So basically, there was no penalty. Now it's kind of like, well, wait a minute. You were on the team as well, so you knew the cheating. That means that I was able to share their stories. So now you're a part of the cheating, but you're just as much trouble as they are because you're outing me. So it's I don't know. It's turned into tattletaling. I don't know what to make of it.
Pat, where does this lead? Where does this go?
It keeps going in circles because, I mean, look, Major League Baseball might be at fault for this because they, more than any other sport, have tried to manipulate the rules and tools of the game to make it as entertaining as possible, right? Like, look, you can make the argument if you weren't rewarding home runs the way you were back in the mid to late 80s, that steroids don't happen. And then you can make the argument that when you got rid of steroids, we didn't juice the ball the way that Major League Baseball absolutely did. You wouldn't have pitchers going above and beyond doing this now to try and figure out a way to get back. And now you have a game that's all home runs or all strikeouts, right? Strategy has eclipsed what these guys can physically do with shifts in field. And I mean, look, there's nothing that baseball can do. I mean, short of just going back to what you go see at the Genesee Country Village Museum, where it's a bunch of guys in cotton pants tucked up to their knees running around. Just play baseball, man. Stop juicing the ball. Stop worrying about what these guys are. Run legitimate drug tests and just play baseball. That'll fix everything.
You know what? This really gives an opportunity, I think, for the guys who aren't using stuff that are going to shine after this sort of investigation. If they are successful in taking stuff out of the game that allows pitchers to scuff the ball or whatever, the guys who continue to succeed after that are going to be able to say, I was doing it right all along. And that's a good thing, don't you think, Tariq?
Well, I mean, they're going to fight that they're saying they're going to do it right all along. There's no way to prove that they were, other than having their word and what their history is. But the other issue here that I think a lot of people are taking into it, and we haven't brought it up yet, is betting on the sport. Back in the day, it was really the purity of the sport. We want to keep it pure. We want athletes to be pure. We want the pitchers to be pure, the hitters to be pure. But we still had cork bats. We still had steel signs. Now it's come to a point where there are a lot of people that are betting on these games. And so now it's a decision of whether or not the game is valid. The player is valid. You've got fantasy football, fantasy baseball. So the cheating end of it is taking another level because people are now wagering on these games and don't want to feel as if, hey, I got cheated because this guy has been juicing this ball or throwing something on that ball.
So, Pat, what happens if Jacob deGrom and Garrett Cole are no longer effective after all of this?
I mean, does it matter? Are we going to remember? Like, there'll be the baseball nerds that remember these things. But, to go back to your point along those lines, like, when we get through this, there will be guys that are successful that say, I did it the whole time. Are you sure? And do you want to watch guys that aren't actually getting the movement on their ball and the strikeouts and the speed that you think they are? Do you want to watch Major League Baseball with subpar pitching? Because be careful what you wish for, man. Sometimes the devil you know is better than the devil you don't.
So you're suggesting that this could just be foolish?
Yes, it was. I mean, look, was it smart to get rid of steroids the way that the ball died? Was it smart to juice the ball up over again after that finished up to make things back the way it was, which led to this? Look, every action has an equal reaction. And we're seeing that reactions now between this and the Astros and the juice ball were having more consequences than the initial problem was. So maybe Major League Baseball should just look back at its history and sit down and shut up.
Hey, what's stronger, the truth or what you believe is true?
You can't handle the truth.
Exactly.
Huh? I gotta smile anyway. Hey, we're in the Rochester press box. We're talking about the Buffalo Bills next.
Original Bay Goodman Pizza, located on the corner of North Winton at Browncroft. There are 3 ways to get the original Bay & Goodman delivery. Go to baygoodman.com.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on the Rochester Press Box, talking Buffalo Bills. Pat, do you feel a sense of personal loss that the Bills training camp won't be in Fisher again this year?
So we were talking about this in the break room earlier this week. Yeah, I mean, it stinks. I feel for the kids. It's not so much me, right? I got my time in. I'm a grown man. But like my fondest memory was driving out to Fredonia with my dad, because that's where it was back then when I was a kid, and enjoying it there and lining up along the fence. Like, these kids in Rochester aren't going to get it. But to that point, I mean, every good thing must end. And I know there are a lot of Bills fans that are upset, worried that it might never, ever be coming back again. But let's say worst case scenario that actually happens. We had it for 20 years. An entire generation of Bills fans got to experience it. I mean, look, when they got here, I was in middle school. I was able to take my daughters to go to Bills training camp 2 years ago, before the pandemic. So, yeah, it stinks. But how upset can you be after we got 21 years out of it?
I'm totally upset. I'm not even a Bills fan. I'm totally upset. You want to know why? Because of the last 20 years, how excited would you have been if they had been in town with a chance to not only go back to the AFC Championship game or go to the Super Bowl? I'm more upset about this than you are, Duffy. How can this possibly be? Because this is a great moment for you. We're finally letting fans back in. People are allowed to come out of their houses now. It's been over a year. And I would have loved to have gone to a Bills camp. Like, I would have loved to have seen these players and the people in this area get rewarded for seeing them, for 3 weeks. So come on.
Here's why it doesn't break my heart so much. Because, look, if you were going to Bills camp the last couple of years, you were going because you were a Bills fan. Now it's the trendy, fun thing to do as we watched all the merchandise fly off the stands. And here's what I would have been worried about. It's for the kids, like I said before. So you want to see the kids line up along the fence and get autographs. Now that there are legitimate NFL superstars on this team, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, more to come, right? You were going to see grown men and women buying merchandise, heading down there and standing along the fence to elbow kids out of the way. And it just ruins the whole thing. We were going to see multiple dad autograph fights. Guys try to sell stuff on eBay if camp was going to happen this year. I don't want to see that happen. Keep it pure, at least that part of the game a little bit. I'm fine with it, man. It's okay.
I'm good with that. I actually don't believe that adults should be in that area. I actually think there should be a kid area specifically for kids to get autographs. That's just me. Bills can take the idea if they want to. I'm not saying don't give adults a chance to get autographs. I think there should be a kid section, to your point, where no kid gets elbowed or knocked over in order to get an autograph. They should be in their section. Adults should be over here, and the players go where they go.
Yeah, geez, that's a great idea. Hey, and also 20 years ago, the NFL didn't have to market itself quite the way it has to right now. So that landscape has changed. I mean, what's in it for the Bills, Pat, do you think, to stay here?
I mean, and look, that's a really great point. Like, it's not a regional sport anymore. The NFL is a national sport. There's not the advertising dollars in Rochester today that there was 20 years ago. And hell, they're making money hand over fist all over the place. I understand it, right? Like, you don't need the newspapers. You don't need the radio stations. All you need is the television broadcast on a weekly basis. They don't need to be here. That being said, it's not going to last forever. Like we said, everything good thing comes to an end. I just hope the NFL and the Bills are considering what happens when you leave a market like this if 20 years from now things aren't as dominant as they once were, as we see the NBA and Major League Baseball and doing things that they're doing?
So I think Duffy's right there. There would be this sort of like, I want to get in for the day. There would be, especially the fact that they're so popular right now. You would get this sort of like, okay, camp is, I know Duffy's gone through this before, camp's full for the day, or you can't go this day, or you can't go that day. Strategizes your summer. It's part of your summer. Think about that. In August, there's not a lot really to do because a number of different camps, summer school is up, vacations are probably up. People made this a part of their day. They made it a part of their week. They put it in their vacation plans. Like, it was really that excitement just before the kickoff of the season where everybody's got a chance to win the Super Bowl. But really, the Bills this year really do have a chance to win the Super Bowl.
This is, and we are, the Rochester Press Box. Like It or Not is next. Here's the Press Box trivia question, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
All of these things show Josh Allen has a strive for greatness inside of him.
Falcon Around with Carl Falk. New episodes every Tuesday on Rock Sports Now.
Here's the Press Box trivia answer, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
Are you facing criminal charges from a DWI and feel that you never imagined it could happen to you? Contact attorneys with years of experience as prosecutors and defenders. Contact Ganguly Brothers Law today for a free consultation. You can put your trust in us.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on the Rochester Press Box. This segment, Like It or Not, is brought to you by Ganguly Brothers Law Firm. Attorneys with years of experience defending the accused. Don't go unprepared. Contact Ganguly Brothers Law today. Tariq, like it or not, the Toronto Blue Jays extended stay in Buffalo to the end of the month of July.
Terrible for the Blue Jays, terrible for the Blue Jay players, terrible for the teams that have to go to Buffalo. Where would you rather be, downtown Buffalo or downtown Toronto? I mean, this whole situation is really sad, in a sense that this has to do with Canada and the border. They have not reopened the border. They can't go over there. That means that Toronto's going to have to stay in Buffalo. Other than that, I mean, it's great for Buffalo in the sense that you get a Major League Baseball team in town. But I just think it's you're never home. That would be, I mean, you're always on the road, even if you are in Buffalo. So I hate it.
But think selfishly. I mean, we've never had a Major League Baseball team playing an hour away from us before.
Yeah, and I have no desire to drive to go see the Blue Jays. So
they're one of the best teams that was playing. Guerrero Jr. is having an MVP caliber season. You don't want to go drive an hour to go watch him play.
Maybe if they're playing the Yankees or Mets, but no.
There you go.
You still standing by your idea, Pat, that Toronto might be our new favorite Major League team? And does this help that?
Have you seen the stadium, Bill? I mean, you've seen the pictures, all the blue inside that stadium, all the vitriol for the Astros when they came during that first homestand when they were in Buffalo. Look, man, Buffalo, Western New York has Toronto Blue Jays fever. And yeah, I cannot wait to go to Buffalo. I'm going to go to a game and I'm going to go watch Major League Baseball in an intimate setting with some of the best young players in Major League Baseball. And it's going to be awesome. And I can't wait.
Like it or not, Pat, the Tennessee Titans get Julio Jones. Another star comes to the AFC side.
Am I the only one that thinks this whole Julio Jones to the Titans makes them Super Bowl contenders? Like, that's an overreaction, right? Because, like, I understand why the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and I get that the Ravens are very scary. But, like, the Titans seem like that team that just over-tipped themselves. Like, that Julio Jones has been talented, but he might be on the downside. And then you rely a lot on Derrick Henry, who's a very physical runner. You know how those running backs can go all of a sudden just off a cliff. And A.J. Brown can play, don't get me wrong. But you got Ryan Tannehill throwing the ball, who, by the way, has been in the league a lot longer than you think he has, and has games where you look at him and go, what are you doing? On paper, it looks great. But you got to put it all together, put it on the field. This ain't Stephon Diggs at 25 years old coming to Buffalo. This is Julio Jones, who's been in the league a decade, coming to Tennessee. I'm not all as worried as everybody else is.
As long as they stay healthy. I mean, that's a dangerous combination. A.J. Brown and him together. It'll be fun. I do agree with Tannehill. I am a little bit concerned because of that of Vrabel. I think Vrabel can find a way to make it all work for an entire season. He's kind of like a mastermind that way. I think the Bills have more talent. I just think that they would play them a lot better. But Vrabel's the X factor in that game. If they meet, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Like it or not, brought to you by Ganguly Brothers Law. Unfinished Business is next.
The Press Box Stat of the Week is being brought to you by McArdle's Restaurant in Fairport. McArdle's is open 7 days a week with dining available indoors and out, takeout and delivery. Come home to McArdle's.
And now to Eichel. He floated one.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on the Rochester Press Box. It's time for Unfinished Business. Pat Duffy, start us off.
Tariq, I'm sorry to do this to you, but I have fallen in love with Trae Young, and I understand how this looks as I'm wearing a Knicks jersey. We had asked earlier this year when LeBron James was hurt and looked like he might not play in the playoffs, what would the NBA playoffs look like without superstars? Well, he gets bounced in the first round, and all of a sudden, all of the electricity gets taken away. Until you look over to the East Coast and what's happening at Madison Square Garden. And don't get me wrong, I love the way Trae Young has played for a very long time. I've watched him play in the regular season, and it's fun to watch. But there is something about a guy playing with reckless abandon in the chapel of basketball in America, looking into that crowd that has been starved for a winner for 2 decades and going, yeah, do something about it. And as he continues to do it against Philly, man, I love watching this kid. That game 1 was amazing. Going into somebody else's building, another championship-starved city, showing up and just shutting them down. And it's not like he's all flash. The kid's got substance, too. He's wiry. He's tough. Tariq, I'm sorry I have to do this to you, but the NBA's playoffs are entertaining without LeBron because of the emergence of that punk little guy that nobody on the other team likes, Trae Young.
The NBA is in trouble. I'll tell you that right now. It's not because of what Duffy said about Trae Young. Trae Young's a great player, and he performed better, and it reminded me of Reggie Miller, which I still have stomach issues about. But the reason why the NBA is in trouble is because their marketing strategy just might not work well enough. Let's just put it to perspective. LeBron James, Luka Doncic, a number of players like Damian Lillard, plus no Lakers, no Boston Celtics, no Miami Heat. By the way, that was the finals matchup, Lakers and Heat last year, out in the first round this year, and may not have Giannis Antetokounmpo if the Brooklyn Nets have anything to say about it. All of your superstars are basically on one team. I will watch Trae Young going forward, to Duffy's point, but I think the NBA's got a big problem. Who, other than him, is going to be your superstar? You just gave MVP to Nikola Jokic out of Denver, and not a lot of people really know much about him. That being said, I think the NBA will learn within the next couple of weeks. Maybe the ratings will go up. The fact that fans are there, I think it will improve. But the biggest issue is, who is your next superstar for the next 3 weeks? There isn't a Steph Curry coming around that corner. There's no other superstar. They're already in the playoffs. And if it's the Brooklyn Nets, it's going to be boring.
So I saw a promo for football games with something called the Spring League being televised on Fox. Well, that's something new. Actually, it isn't. The Spring League's been operating since 2017. Who knew? They still promote the fact that Bills legend Fred Jackson and former Heisman winner Johnny Manziel once played in it. I'm not so football starved that I'll watch, but there is something worth paying attention to there. The league's tie-breaking system was originally proposed by the NFL's Baltimore Ravens. It's being tested here. It's called Spot and Choose. At the end of regulation, the winner of a coin toss gets to pick the line of scrimmage. The other team gets to choose who gets the ball from that spot. Consider that. Something that requires real thought. It's totally fair. And that's not all. The game either ends in sudden death, first team to score, or the overtime has a fixed clock. The Ravens' proposal gives you 7.5 minutes, half a quarter, to sort this out. This does not seem like an experiment that'll make its way to the NFL anytime inside of a decade. But Spot and Choose is maybe the best idea to hit the pikes in spider tack. That is Unfinished Business, and that is our program. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
I'm not mad at Duffy, even though he gave props to Trae Young wearing a Knicks jersey by a Knicks legend. How can I be upset with him?
Walt Frazier jersey, it's the best. Pat? Thank you, man.
Hey, no. thank you guys. Great to see you again. Tariq, I missed you, buddy.
When's that celebrity fight again?
Say what?
When's that celebrity fight again?
June 25th. We'll get to it next week. I'm getting nervous.
Yeah, way to get out of the show clean once again. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll see you again next week on the Rochester Press Box.